All right, folks, we got a breaking midday update as Bitcoin has finally broken back out. I was warning about that 65,000 level, and I said I wasn't going to get excited till we break 65. Well, we just did it today. I wanted to provide an update on what's taking place in the current events, and then we're going to take a look at these markets, which are responding well to the positive GDP print that we got, the second revision coming in at 3% today. So we still got a strong economy according to the GDP. But we're going to break this situation down here talking about crypto digital assets. Gary Gensler on CNBC admitting that Bitcoin is not a security, not willing to go as far as to say that all tokens are not securities themselves. But we did see Hester Pierce testify that. We did see Gary Gensler get exposed in front of Congress. So along with the GDP print and the SEC kind of exposing themselves, starting to show their hand on crypto, we got a little bit of a Bitcoin breakout. Let's get right on into it. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. And if you missed my update this morning, you're going to want to make sure you check that one out too. We talked about a new XRP bank listing, not a Ripple Bank partnership, not an exchange listing, but a bank now offering for their clients the ability to buy XRP directly. Can you say flip that switch? Let's get started here, folks. Current events. Here's the situation. We have an FBI whistleblower, and boy, has this thing been breaking open. And you guys know my stance. Let all truth be revealed. I want you to listen in here real quick on what this FBI whistleblower urges Americans to do. Vote, arm themselves, stock up on 3 to 4 months of supply of food and water, and also to pray. Let's take a listen here.
Stake your claim and don't forfeit it willingly. Have your voice heard. My other recommendations are in the natural order. First, vote. The second is the Second Amendment. Arm yourself and know how to defend yourself. Make 3 to 4 friends in your neighborhood and promise to come to each other's mutual aid in times of hardship. And during the Great Depression, people stocked up a pantry. So I think that's a good practice, especially in our economic times, and make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food. And as a person of faith, I'd say pray the rosary. Go to the First Friday devotions. That's for everybody, all my brothers and sisters of all faiths, and I know I'm Catholic. And read the gospel of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and live it every day. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for the time.
And by the way, this is testimony that this FBI whistleblower has given in regards to the abuse of power at the FBI and the corruption within the FBI. And he actually believes that he doesn't think that they're going to be able to self-correct. And so this is why he's saying he urges Americans to basically prepare, as we've been talking about. And the last prepping call that we had in our Discord group, I think, has been a couple months. But in that one, I went over the basics of what I've done, what I've been up to, along with my weak points in my strategy that I'm working on to finish off this year. We see the storms hitting down in Florida right now as we speak. And, storms coming in for landfall here shortly. Guys, once again, whether it's the economy, inflation, the storm coming through, this thing's blowing wide open right now. Literally, the storm has arrived. The only other things that I wanted to add to what he was saying is I like my precious metals, and then I also like my digital assets too for when the systems come back on. And as we lean into this new financial system, I want to continue to stack and hold and be able to use the assets that we know are going to back and run the new system, precious metals, XRP, maybe a few other cryptocurrencies. So the prepping stuff isn't as sexy as crypto. Crypto's obviously part of the strategy, but we got to make sure that we can feed the family. Now, speaking of feeding somebody, well, we've managed to find another $8.7 billion for weapons to Israel being reported here today. Also, at the same time, sorry, where did it go? Oh, I lost it. I misplaced it. Yes, we have another 8.7 billions in weapons to Israel, but we also are waiting. They're supposed to be giving another 8 billion to Ukraine today as well. Zelensky's back here doing his sales pitch, and so we're supposed to come up with another 8 billion. I don't know if that's cash or weapons for Zelensky in Ukraine, but we also just found another 8.7 billions in weapons for Israel. So we got money coming out all over the place, and what's happening in DC right here is Speaker Johnson just caved again. The House just passed a continuing resolution to move forward with the massive Pelosi-era spending until at least December. So we got us through till Christmas time, I guess. And then we'll be faced with the same situation. The House will now be taking yet another month off. And this is the part that just pisses me off as an American. As we're all out here working 2 and 3 jobs, working every single day, we got the House on vacation for another month. Obviously, this is the month that they take off leading up to the elections. But I'd still like to see them getting some work done while they do all the campaigning as well. And because they just got done with another month-long vacation. And so also, we look at this, there was no SAVE Act passed, so expect illegals or undocumented to be able to vote in your state. Every American should be outraged. That's from Nick Sorter. So here we go. Only about, a little over a month away from this election. It's getting spicy, folks. In New York, we've been talking about the corruption. Remember that judge, right? Was it the FBI was showing up to arrest him, and the dude decided to take his own life? Well, this is part of a bigger corruption scandal that's exposed in New York right now, and we have New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted and faces the 5 following charges: conspiracy to commit wire fraud, federal program bribery, and to receive campaign contributions by foreign nationals. And I think it's Turkey that they're alleging here. Wire fraud, solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national, solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national, and bribery. So, in New York City, it's getting spicy. This election is going to go down in the record books as one of the most interesting, fascinating, and bombshells are already breaking, and we're still a month away. So, it's getting exciting. We'll continue to update you guys on that. Now, into the markets. Let's take a look at it. Why are we up? Why is the S&P 500 at a new all-time high? Why is the Dow Jones at a new all-time high? Why is Bitcoin breaking above 65,000? Still off the all-time high, but breaking out of the trend that we've been watching was a trend of lower lows and lower highs. So we were just trending down, lower lows, lower highs, and I said we need to break out past 65. We did. Why? Because the news came out here today that the U.S. economy grew. They confirmed it with the second revision by 3% in spring. So this is Q2 GDP. We did achieve 3% growth. Once again, we see this is the revised from the 1.6 pace in the first 3 months. Yeah, growth has picked up. I was trying to make sure I had that right. Yeah. So Q1 GDP was 1.6%. Q2 came in at 3%. So although Q1 didn't go negative, it did slow up. Q2 started to wake up again. Here we're, up to 3%. And now the big one's going to, we're going to have to see how we finish off this year with Q3 and Q4. Those are going to be the big ones, right? So markets responding positively, and in particular, cryptocurrency too, responding very well, as we have Gary Gensler confirming that Bitcoin is not a security. Bitcoin, my predecessor and I have said that's not a security. You now have a way to buy into that through the ETF. So don't go buy Bitcoin yourself and be your own bank, be your own self-custodian, and hold the keys to your crypto and your destiny. Don't do that. Go to my buddies at Wall Street. So, of course, he finally has to capitulate and admit that Bitcoin's not a security. But, of course, he follows that up by saying, go buy the ETF from my buddies. You wouldn't expect anything else from Gary Gensler, would you? Now, listen to this exchange here on CNBC real quick.
Here to stay and something that could be useful.
This is something I said to students 4 and 5 years ago.
I know, but you didn't say it to once you were the SEC chairman.
No. That this field will not long persist without investor protection or consumer protection.
Number
two, many of these projects, without prejudging anyone, are tapping into the public's interest to raise money. That's the classic securities sort of protections that you put in place. You can decide to go long or short these projects, but you need the disclosures. And as it relates to Bitcoin, my predecessor and I have said that's not a security. You now have a way that you can actually express that view, buy into that through exchange-traded products, traded on NASDAQ, traded on New York Stock Exchange and the like.
See, so it's not about the underlying assets not being securities. He's not ready to go and say that every crypto is not a security, because he still believes that some in and of themselves are a security, even though he's been turned down in the court. He's going to continue to fight that battle. He's going to continue to stand up there on CNBC and say that he doesn't want to prejudge any one token. Oh, thanks, Gary. Thank you. And he's so concerned about protecting us, right? That's the problem, right? Is that there is no protection. They're always late to the game. They've allowed the biggest frauds and the scams to persist and blow up right in front of their face, while their buddies continue to take campaign donations from them. And then, of course, when it is time to finally admit, we've lost this battle, okay, crypto's here to stay, go buy the ETF for my buddies. And we got it here at the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange. We got investor protections. Don't you feel good because Gary Gensler's watching over you? You guys let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. From getting completely exposed in the testimony in D.C. in front of Congress, right, with Hester Pierce and Mark Uyeda, basically completely exposing the SEC along with Gary Gensler. He then comes on in to CNBC here and is still parading around. It's just unbelievable to see that we're still here with this guy standing in between us and a level playing field for crypto. Yes, we do believe that some of the ICOs, some of the ways that these tokens have been offered and continue to be offered are investment contracts. We're not arguing that point. The point is that in and of themselves, these tokens are not the security, and you need to stop going after the legitimate projects that have tried to come in and report to you. You guys say, just come on in. We tried. And then what happened and how much damages have been done? Something that we got to talk about and something that we need to make right. More on that later. Bitcoin, though, breaking out here to this level of 65.8 on my chart here. This is Qcoin that I'm pulling this from. About 65.8 is what we were able to do here just about an hour or so ago as I record this one. And so like I was saying, we were doing lower highs and lower lows. Since we set the all-time high in March, it's just been that same pattern. We finally got the breakout. If you're wondering what my vertical lines are, this was the Bitcoin conference, and we warned about this. Buy the rumor, sell the speech, basically, which is exactly what happened. Pumped it up till Trump took the stand, then we dumped it. And so we warned about that one with that vertical line. Right here was Fed day, Fed decision day. And sure enough, they pump it in, they keep the pump going, and I warned about this. Back in 2007, the market pumped for about 2-3 weeks after the Fed did the first 50 basis rate cut on September 18th, same exact day, back in 2007. Market rallied, one last gasp. And so here we got crypto breaking out, 65,000. I'd love to see this hold, and we'll see if this is a real breakout. I'd like to see some confirmation, right? Not just on the 4-hour chart, but I'm looking at the weekly right now, zoomed out, and we did get the break. Will it hold? All right, this could be finally breaking the trend for Bitcoin. Now, for XRP, we did go up to about 59.6. 59.6 for XRP. We need a clean break above 62 cents to get excited, right? We want the 62 cent breakout before we can get excited, which is what we did back in August. Okay. And once again, even at this resistance at 66 cents, but you can see here the trend, the consolidation winding up right here. And, I'm just going to continue to say it, for the next 2 weeks. And I know we've been saying it for years. Oh, something's happening. Oh, big news. And everybody says, well, where's the price action? Or I saw somebody joke in the comments earlier on my video, how much is XRP going to go down based off of this good news? And I thought, that's a pretty good joke, right? We get all this good news for XRP. It never seems to go up. Well, we're at the make or break point for XRP. We got less than 2 weeks for this appeal window to close in SEC versus Ripple. Gary Gensler's getting completely exposed in front of Congress. He's finally having to admit, the SEC's finally having to admit that the tokens themselves are not a security. At least Hester Pierce will admit that. And some of the other commissioners, Gary Gensler, not willing to go that far. But broader legislation around the corner, and we got Maxine Waters wanting to make the grand bargain deal on stablecoins. Chucky Schumer promised a bill on stablecoins. We're starting to see John Deaton going to go be debating Elizabeth Warren twice next month. This is the XRP go viral moment, the make or break moment for XRP. We're going to find out one way or another. And you guys know how I'm positioned. I think I know how many of you guys are positioned. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that this breakout is for real, if we're about to break out much further for Bitcoin, or if this is just a fake out. You guys let me know in the comments down below if you appreciate our updates. We're going to keep you guys tapped in on everything, current events, financial markets, cryptocurrency, and how we're going to take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Everything's at ZachRector.com. Smack it on the way out for me, and I'd greatly appreciate you for that. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.